So, Drew, pop quiz. What are they doing in that scene there?
Was that the scene of Van Damme's pants splitting from one of the 8 or 18 splits that he did during the movie?
I was thinking maybe it's the sound of Van Damme and his reporter ladies lovemaking, maybe?
It could have been that. It could have been the other guy that was crawling on the ground, kicking him. What is it actually from?
It's actually Van Damme and an opponent of his just repeatedly kicking each other in the ribs and stomach. Neither budging.
Which accurately describes this film. Yeah. So welcome back to The Last Row. My name's Drew, and for all of you that don't know, I'm here with my very good friend Badway.
What up?
And we want to welcome everybody that's a new listener. For people that don't know or haven't heard the show before, this is a podcast where we watch movies that might not have been loved by the critics, might not have been perfect, and we try to find the silver linings and things that we enjoy. If you're trying to find us, you can get us at thelastrowpodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter at thelastrowpod, facebook.com/thelastrowpod. We're also on Google+, and you can get to our voicemail from our website in case you want to do that.
So we did Bloodsport, IMDb 6.8, Rotten Tomatoes 33%, 1988, rated R, directed by Newt Arnold.
Newt.
And obviously, if you don't know, it's Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Is that short for Newton?
Newton Arnold. So Jean-Claude Van Damme is U.S. soldier Frank Dux. Dux?
D-U-X.
Dux. He's come to Hong Kong to be accepted into the Kumite, a highly secretive and extremely violent martial arts competition. While trying to gain access into the underground world of clandestine fighters, clandestine, good word.
It's a big word here.
Yeah. He also has to avoid military officers who consider him to be absent without leave. AWOL. After enduring difficult training and beginning a romance with journalist Janice Kent.
That's her name? I didn't even know that.
It wasn't really a romance?
No.
Frank is given the opportunity to fight, but can he survive?
How do you feel about that description?
I kind of like it, even though he didn't really have to avoid those officers for the AWOL thing because they were pretty bumbling.
They couldn't find him, and then when they finally did, they just kind of let him fight anyway.
Yeah, and the chase scene was a mockery. It was like Bugs Bunny, you know?
We have to talk about that.
Yeah.
We have to talk about that.
Other than that, it's a pretty good description.
Yeah. I want to talk to you about your initial thoughts of this film. We've got a lot to talk about today. We got to talk about the Kumite itself, all the characters, but we also have, as people have come to know and love on the show, we have a game that you put together for me this week. I got you last week. We got a game for everybody.
I got one coming back at you
this week. So we're going to get to that towards the end of the episode. But without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So what are your initial thoughts of this film?
Well, I don't want to overstate this, but this may very well be the best movie of all time, or the worst movie of all time, however you want to say it. So I know we got a tweet on at the Last Row Pod.
Yeah.
Somebody wrote in, and I thought they summed it up very nicely.
So
do you have that?
Yeah, I brought it up. It's Will. So Will writes to us and says, and I think this really sums up the entire movie very well. He says, quote, "Really shit acting, but somehow very good."
Yeah.
And I can't disagree with that in any way. This is a terribly acted film, but it's awesome.
Despite all of its shortcomings, and there are plenty of them, including any and all dialogue in the entire movie, it's a kick-ass movie.
I really enjoyed it, and I think anyone that's seen it probably does enjoy it if they're into action films.
There's a reason that it's beloved, and if you can get past the first 20 minutes to a half hour, it's gold.
If you're watching Versus at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday night, it's probably on.
Is Versus still a channel?
I don't know. Probably not.
Maybe. I feel like it changes every 6 months.
So I want to ask you a question because there's a lot of interesting acting in this film. The first question I want to ask you today about the acting in this film is, who do you prefer? Adult Van Damme or Child Van Damme, and why?
Well, you got to go Adult Van Damme. Because Child Van Damme is first of all, he's got the New York Giants football jersey and the San Francisco Giants baseball hat.
Do you think that was an oversight by the people that are hey, get him some Giants gear. We got to get some Giants stuff.
I feel like it was some kind of, the wardrobe guy was foreign. He had no idea about American football and American baseball, so he just threw all the stuff together. He had no clue what was going on. That's the one strike. The second strike is the kid can barely speak any language.
It's very true.
You know? And number 3 is his body movements are so robotic that I'm not sure he's human.
He had the thickest accent. Now, but you said this to me before we started recording. So Van Damme's playing Frank Dux,
right?
Okay? But this kid is playing Van Damme playing Frank Dux.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, so we have Van Damme. Where's he from? From Brussels.
He's from Brussels. He's the muscles from Brussels.
The muscles from Brussels. So he's playing American, but he's from Brussels originally. This kid is playing an American who's playing a guy from Brussels who's playing an American. That's a tough role to put on a young guy.
I guess considering the difficulty level, that's like an expert level there. Asking him, I think I'd give him a solid C+.
Oh, he's still got an F.
On his
Yeah.
F+.
So, and the horribly drawn out beginning of this movie, the flashback was a big part of it. And
yeah.
I'm going Van Damme.
So I took some notes here, and I want to go through them real quick. I put some initial observations about this film. The first thing that I wrote was that this movie was made in 1988.
Right.
We've done a lot of movies around this time period. This movie felt like it was made 20 years before 1988.
Yeah, it really looked old.
I wrote even, it felt like 1978. Like, it just looked old, and I know the fashion was like, it was hot fashion, but I mean, what Kindergarten Cop was 2 years later, and that looked like it was 20 years later.
I know, it looked like futuristic, didn't it?
It looked futuristic. It looked like the Sixth Day or something. And this movie, 4 years after Ghostbusters, and it looked a world different.
Yeah.
It just looked so bad.
It looked like it was shot in 78.
Is that just a bad budget? What is that?
Yeah, I can't even describe it. Like, even the music choices, everything about it was just off.
So I wrote down voiceovers too. Half the people sounded like they had voiceovers.
Yeah, absolutely.
The fashion was horribly dated. Dramatic, long pauses. We said that in Roadhouse, which was about the same, but this was like exponentially longer in terms of pauses and dramatic stares.
Oh, Roadhouse's dialogue was Shakespearean compared to this one.
Right, and I feel like the pauses were extra long. Like, I think there's probably, the script for this movie was probably 5 to 10 pages long.
Yeah.
And I don't think that you could get through it, you wouldn't have trouble getting through it, excuse me.
Could we just have this movie be like just sound effects?
Yeah.
Like
Just
karate
like
screams.
Yeah.
And then we could have glances and looks, kind of like a silent film.
They don't really need...
You could even have subtitles, of what they're thinking.
They don't really even need the dialogue at all. It's
like,
irrelevant.
You know how in silent films it's like they do a thing on the screen and then they do like the black screen and they say with the statement. Like, that's what we need for this movie.
I also wrote... So I have a big bullet point, and the big bullet point is called The Art of the Montage. Now, we've seen a lot of montages in the movies that we've watched so far. Tell me about the montages in this movie.
You gotta have a montage. Well, there was a montage in like the opening credits, first of all.
Which was really damn hard to understand what the hell it was.
So they're showing all these fighters preparing for something. We don't know what it is yet. The Bloodsport, if you will. So we got this one guy chopping coconuts, another guy's
with his like bare hands
breaking shit. I don't know. I can't remember what they were doing. And that's like in the first 2 minutes. Then we do a flashback to Van Damme about how he got into the Kumite. What else do we got? We got a flashback. Oh, we have a montage
climbing stuff.
Yeah, we got a montage of Van Damme running away from his military officers.
Yeah. Getting beat up in the schoolyard or something like that.
There's like 5 montages of the Kumite tournament itself. And all this is scored by just the wrong, shitty new age music that like it doesn't fit.
Well, that's the thing. Like, and I know there's an anecdote about Star Wars, right? So Star Wars was filmed in the 70s, late 70s, and people had always said that the thing about Star Wars and why it holds up so well is that the score for the film was done by John Williams, who did such a great job with basically classical music, and it doesn't really age. But when you put very contemporary music that has synthesizers and specific things from that time,
right,
it just doesn't hold up.
But I
feel like if they changed this and put like rescored it and put some like intense like classical music, it would change the entire tone of the film.
See, they could have even done the 80s like synthesizer, the electric drum thing that they do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking of the Terminator from 84.
Yeah.
Like, even that's like, it's pretty crappy and pretty dated if you watch it now, but it's upbeat and it fits. Obviously we're talking about Terminator, James Cameron, we're talking about a great movie, but if they put upbeat music to some of these montages, it'd be better. But it's not even upbeat, it's almost like depressing.
Yeah.
And it kind of like ruins the moment. It's really strange that the choices are here.
So they set this up by him going AWOL, and I have questions. It's like, why did he go AWOL? Why is he so valuable to the military?
Right.
Why do they need to get him? None of this is answered, right? I mean,
no.
What did you get from that?
No, first of all, Forrest Whitaker is one of the guys that's going to get
your
him.
favorite actor.
And let me just say it right now. I hate Forrest Whitaker. He's terrible in every movie that he's in. I know. Did he win an Oscar? He was nominated.
He did. No, he won it. He won Best Actor.
Sham. Total sham.
That was rigged.
Right? Him and his one eye. I don't know. He's got like a half an eye. He's squinting. He looks like he's winking at you. I don't know.
That's why he's friendly. He's got a friendly face.
Right. But he's terrible in it. He's extra terrible in this movie. And they go on to like allude to the fact that this guy, John Dux, is valuable to the military.
Yeah.
But they never say why.
Well, and the other thing,
what is he valuable for?
No, I'm not I'm not in the military. Okay, I've never been. We have friends. We gotta dial up Billy and see what happens. So when he went on furlough, the whole thing was he went on furlough and he goes into the shower and the guy's like following him around.
Yeah,
like, hey, go take a shower now. And he's like, oh, I gotta check out where you're going. But he's like following him around, and then he goes into the shower and they're like, are you done, sir? And the shower's just running.
Yeah,
and he walks in.
Classic move.
Couldn't he just like go wherever he was gonna go and then leave?
It's almost like they knew he was a flight risk.
Yeah. Like, but couldn't he have gone anywhere else and then just left?
Yeah, he could have lied to him and said, yeah, I'm going to LA.
Yeah, and he could have went to LA. Now, I don't know. We got to ask Billy, because I don't know if somebody follows you around, if he's a flight risk. Maybe they do.
I don't know.
But we'll have to find out.
I guess maybe they
that.
thought he might do this Kumite thing. But how did they even know about it?
That's the thing. Like,
He didn't talk about it.
The point is, I just didn't understand, and I think that's probably the worst aspect about the movie, because it didn't set it up. It didn't seem serious to me. It's like, oh, this guy is so awesome. He's a great military person. There's nothing about it.
Yeah.
And then he just leaves.
It's almost like he's Universal Soldier.
Yeah. So I want to ask you too, who's the worst character? You said Forrest Whitaker. Is that your worst character?
Forrest Whitaker is my worst character.
I disagree with you.
He even gets cut off by his own partner. The
He
old
does.
guy gets like
That was like Gone in 60 Seconds style too, right?
Yes, we're on the same page here.
Yeah, it's exactly like Gone in 60 Seconds.
Right.
Like Timothy Olyphant's character, like he can't get a word in.
Yeah, but what do you say? So you say no?
I think that the reporter, I don't even, what's her name? Janice?
Whatever.
Something?
Cares.
I didn't even say her name, I don't think, the whole time. Now, this is a theme in a lot of these movies. Like, there's just, the character it's like so last minute. It almost feels like, hey, we got to have a love story. Let's put this reporter in here. Now, I'm going to give you a couple reasons why I think she's terrible.
All right.
The first one is, she basically blows the lid on this entire thing.
Total rat.
And she's a rat, right? What's worse than a rat? Nothing.
A whore rat, which she also is.
She is, because the thing is, she basically slept around to get entrance into this game. Yeah. And that's messed up. Like, they could have really taken a good angle with her and maybe made her like a strong journalist. She's trying to find it out.
Right.
But it was like a tack on.
Yeah. If April O'Neil were running this thing, she'd get the story.
She's going to get the story.
Without giving it away.
But my thing with her is that she wanted to get into the Kumite. And she finally does get in because she slept with Van Damme and basically followed him. She goes in as like an escort, and it was like a little alluding to the fact that she seemed like a prostitute.
Yeah, she had her hair all done up.
Yeah,
she had like an evening gown on,
but it was like a revealing evening.
Yeah,
gown.
like $1,000.
Yeah,
you know,
like that guy that was with her bought it.
Not a prostitute, but an escort.
Escort, yeah, it's high class.
High class,
like Spitzer girl.
Right.
So I also think that it's BS because she went into this thing and then basically tried to get him to stop because, you got to quit. You got to quit after she cared more than nothing else about getting into this thing and finding out the story.
Well, let's be real. I feel like I may be wrong on this, but the first fight she sees, isn't it the one where Chong Li kills the guy?
That's probably true.
So people don't die all the time in the Kumite, but the main bad, Chong Li, happens to kill a guy maybe once a tournament, maybe by accident, maybe on purpose. So she happens to see the kill. The one time he kills a guy, and now she's like, "Oh, this is wrong. We can't have this."
I just didn't really like her. She wasn't believable. And again, it's a theme in these movies. Like I'm thinking about other movies where there's very strongly written female characters, and these have just been like crapping the bed on this.
We've done a lot of late '80s or early '90s movies, and maybe that has something to do with it. Yeah. Before we move on from this reporter, Janice,
I think that's her name, Janice Kent.
How did she meet Van Damme?
So this is also one of my favorite scenes of this film. There's this guy that is supposed to be Arab, but he doesn't look Arab. He looks like an Asian guy playing an Arab or something like that. It just didn't look anything like a guy who was an Arab. Right. And it was very stereotypical Arab. They gave him like the headdress thing.
They gave him the headdress and they call him Arab.
And it's like, so that he pulls this coin trick. Basically, it was like an assault, basically waiting to happen.
Right.
And she was trying to find out about the Kumite. And this assault is basically happening. He has goons, and he's trying to basically take her up to his room.
So, basically he thinks of her as his property here. Yeah. Come with me to my bedroom. Well, this is not a question.
And she was in danger.
Right.
So Van Damme comes up, saves the day, basically pulls this coin trick and says, if you can take this coin, or if I can take this coin from your hand.
Yes.
But before you close it, I get the girl.
Very risky.
Yeah.
Now, remind you, we flash back to Van Damme's training.
Catching a fish?
Frank Dux training of catching a fish with his bare hands from his sensei. What do they call him?
Yeah, Shinoshi or something?
Shinoshi. From his Shinoshi. We're butchering this. All right, that's fine.
I feel sorry to everybody.
Yeah. So we know that he has the skills to do this, but even so, we don't know the background of this Arab guy here, so he might be just as quick on the trigger.
I agree,
right?
and he really put himself out there doing this.
Yeah.
But cocky Frank Dux,
yes,
pulls it off and gets her. But it almost seemed like he was trying to treat her like a prize.
Sure.
Then he was like basically flirting with her.
Well, he asked her out on a date. They eventually go on that date.
Yeah.
And they have sex. Of course they have sex.
Well, because it's part of the love story, right?
So, but I thought it was a little gratuitous. Talk about female objectification. Remember the scene where she was standing at the foot of the bed and we see the great ass and pulling up the panties?
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait. That was Van Damme. That was Van Damme. Sorry.
That's so true. I forgot about that.
So Van Damme basically had like a handshake deal with the director. Listen, I'm going to have... It's almost like he was waiting to pull his pants up. Like you could see him like delay. Like
they started the camera.
It was in his contract to show his ass in this film.
Like he's standing there with the briefs. Yeah. They were like purple briefs or something.
It's panties.
And they were... Was he wearing hers? Was he wearing her panties?
He's got panties on. I'm pretty
sure. So he
had
him like half down his legs. And then the director was like, action.
Yeah.
And then he waited a second and then he pulled
He's such a bad actor that he couldn't pull it off right.
I forgot about that completely. That was ridiculous. Yeah. But I just think that the whole love story was totally... It was just butchered and it was unnecessary. It was to give him a reason. Oh, you got to have him stop fighting. Right. You got to have him stop. It's danger. I love you.
But the thing is, though, the one thing I'm proud of is that he didn't waver for 1 second. He didn't even think about it. He was like, no. I've been thinking about this my whole life.
There's another romance in this movie that I want to talk to you about.
All right.
It's not really a romance. It's more of a bromance.
Bromance.
Let's talk about Dux. Sorry, I said Dux. Dux and the big man.
That's all right. I already called him John Dux. It's Frank.
Frank Dux.
We're butchering this here. Yeah. Listen, it's not important. All right.
Tell me about their friendship.
So there's a couple Americans in this thing, right? So we find out along the way, and most of the white guys get their asses beat in this tournament.
It's pretty embarrassing.
Let's go. Let's get some American pride here. When Van Damme goes into the hotel, he sees guy, big jolly guy, huge beard, Harley Davidson shirt, playing a video game. Now, it looks like the worst video game of all time. I mean, arcades have been around since the 70s. This thing is very highly out of date. It's a karate game. Van Damme's never even seen a video game before, he looks like. He looks so confused by it. He walks up to it. Jolly old guy. His name's Ray Jackson, right?
Yeah.
He's like, here, why don't we come play? You want to come play me? Here, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do to you in the tournament in like a jolly way, right? Van Damme steps up to the sticks and just crushes him. Instant respect from Ray Jackson. They were best friends since then.
And they became instant best friends. It was like stepbrothers type.
Yeah, so let me break it down for you this way. This tournament is 3 days long, right?
Yeah.
Van Damme's going to be at Hong Kong for 3 days. And those 3 days, you would think that Van Damme and this Ray Jackson character have been buddies since elementary school.
Yeah, they knew everything about each other.
Like, they were so tight. So tight.
Come on, Frankie, do it for me.
They were high-fiving each other on the side, rooting for each other during the fights, buddying.
They really did seem to have a very strong bond.
Yeah. But
that leads us to the Kumite itself. Okay.
Kumite.
Now, this place is in like the slums of the slums. It's like if the slums had slums.
Yeah.
You know, like the dirtiest part of the slums. You have to walk through alleyways to get in there.
It's very well hidden, though.
How did they even build that in there?
It's very tactical because you want to make it. You don't want. The thing is, the thing about the Kumite is it's secretive.
Yeah.
It's against the law. I think they allude to the fact in the movie that the Hong Kong police, they know about it, but they don't know where it is. They don't want to know where it is
because it's like a don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah,
thing.
Don't ask, don't tell. They approve of it. They recognize that it's illegal, but they turn their head to it.
It's a tourism thing. It brings people to the country.
Sure. Yeah, you don't want to lose that money. So what they want to do is you want to build this thing in the shittiest of places so that no one would want to find it by accident.
Yeah.
So that's what they do, and I think they did a really good job of building this thing.
But how do you get invited? So how do you get invited to this thing? Okay,
to fight?
Yeah, as a fighter, how do you get invited? Do they send you? Is it like Mortal Kombat, where somebody they send like Shang Tsung to send you a message?
Every fighter in this tournament has a very rich and storied background. No,
but we don't know anything about them.
No, we don't know. And the thing is, you could make this movie 20 different ways. I'm sure they have 20 different backgrounds, just like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat. I want to know. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe Mortal Kombat was based off of this movie because it certainly seemed like it. It just had like spooky elements about it.
And that's one of my flaws in this movie is that they don't spend enough time. Just give me 2 minutes. Give me like a lineup of who's fighting this thing. All I know is
get the card.
Guy in the New York Mets pants. He's rocking the blue and orange. Gets his back broken. That's all he is. So some white guy gets his back broken.
He's basically a prop.
Other guy in black and orange pants gets thrown out of the ring in 2 seconds. Like there's it's just window dressing. I want to know who these guys are. Give me a name of these guys.
They don't give you anything.
They don't give names.
Like some of the names are up on the screen. Yeah. Like the old style Wheel of Fortune thing where they
don't even have a bracket. I want to see the bracket.
How big is the bracket? Because I know there's a couple articles online that we found, but they said like the worst 15 fighters. Like how many fighters are actually in this Kumite? They don't tell us.
I'm guessing around 20. So back to your initial question, how do you get in? I guess you got to know a guy who knows a guy. You have to have a rep.
Is the glasses guy with the mullet?
Yes.
Like the guy that like is promoting Frank?
He's the American ambassador. So there's this Korean dude who's like very like yay ho American type of guy who's very like, well, the thing is the guy probably speaks perfect English, but the director is probably very racist and wants to give him this very racist what he thinks Koreans talk in American.
It's right? Pretty bad. I know. It's
English. No, nobody speaks American. I'm sorry, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, it's like it is very like stereotypical.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of stereotypes in this movie,
right?
And we're not condoning that. It's like it's pretty bad. No, they couldn't make this movie today.
No,
I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, probably not. So this guy is kind of like he's escorting some of the Americans around. Like he's like the right hand man of Frankie Dux and Ray Jackson. So Van Damme walks in. So everybody's got their own little invitation. They know a guy who knows a guy. Somebody vouches for him, whatever. We don't know that. But what we do know is Frank Dux got invited because of his Shidoshi?
Yeah, the master, his master.
His master, who taught him everything he knows.
Yeah. Which seemed like, by the way, we didn't say this, his kid died in it, right? That's
assumed.
So in the flashback within a flashback within a flashback, not Inception style here, I got the impression that his kid died trying to live up to his dad's dream.
Because in a childhood flashback, the kid says that the Shinoshi's original son says, I want to honor my father by competing in the Kumite. Yeah. So I guess that he died because
they just show a picture.
Talks about dying. And also, not to get too out of whack here, the reason Van Damme is doing this is because his Shinoshi.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. We'll just call it Shinoshi.
Yeah, his Shinoshi died, and he wanted to honor his legend by competing and winning in the Kumite.
Yeah, so he's trying to win the honor of him.
So he has like the golden ticket. This famous man is my Shinoshi.
Yeah.
So I'm in. But when he walks in the door, it's some white guy.
They didn't believe him.
White guy speaks German.
Yeah,
right?
He does.
So they're like, you're not Shinoshi from this guy. So you got to prove it. Here, break this brick. Which brick does he break? There's a big wall of bricks. How do they decide?
The guy, so his promoter, the guy with the glasses, like the big rose-colored glasses, tells him, "Oh, break the one on top here, Frankie." And then the guy's like, "No."
Yeah. The judge is like, "No.
You break the bottom one."
Yeah. You got to break one single solitary brick out of all these bricks. He chooses a brick for him to break.
I don't remember the name of it, but there's such a thing that anyone that's watched Batman the Animated Series, the Death Touch, like he knows the Death Touch that his Shinoshi taught him, and he teaches him how to do this Death Touch, and basically it's the proof that I was trained by this guy. So he breaks the bottom brick, only that.
Right. Well, Pai Mei taught this trick to the bride in Kill Bill.
Yeah, so, exactly. Yeah. It's exactly that.
Right.
And that's how he does it. But how do you get invited back? Like, assuming you don't die at the hands of Chong Li,
right?
Like getting your back broken or neck snapped.
So basically this Kumite tournament it's basically MMA.
Yeah.
And where it's anything goes, no rules. The only way you lose is if you get knocked out, you submit, you get knocked out of the ring, or you die. That's how you lose.
Yeah.
The fight lasts, there's no rounds, it's one round till the end. Sometimes people die. And sometimes people die by the hands of Chong Li.
Probably more than sometimes, but
so other than death, if you're a returning fighter, how do you get told, you pat on the back, say, listen, kid, don't bother coming back next year?
Like, did the guy that got literally thrown out of the ring, like by that sumo looking guy, like he literally threw him out of the ring?
I would like to think if you lose in less than 10 seconds, you're done.
If Dukes breaks a record on you, you're done.
You don't get to come back.
Yeah.
If you quit, you don't get to come back. Submission, you don't get to come back.
So it's like if you make it to the Sweet 16 or something, or like the Grade 8 or the Final Four, maybe you're in.
I think if you get past round one, you're automatically back in.
You're in.
Right. If you get your bones broken, you're allowed back in because that's toughness. If you want to come back after getting your leg broken, that's toughness. I got to give it to you.
There's a few fighters that I wanted to talk about, and there's a couple. I mean, we talked about Jackson already. This Hossein guy, the Sadiq Hussein, the guy that was the creepy guy from the coin trick.
That almost sexually assaulted our young reporter.
So Dukes basically breaks a world record on him, right? And Chong Li's pissed because he broke his record.
Yeah.
And Chong Li, by the way, so menacingly staring at him in the corner, doesn't really have a line until like halfway through the movie.
I think he says like 5 words the whole movie.
And I'm pretty sure it was a dubbed voiceover too.
Oh yeah, it was.
This guy's like a bodybuilder. I think he was Mr. Asia or something. I forgot the actor's name. I'm sure
he's built like a brick shithouse, pretty much.
He literally looks like a bodybuilder. He is a bodybuilder.
He's thick and massive, and he has pecs of the likes of which you've never seen before.
He constantly is flexing them too.
He's very popular in the crowd, and everyone knows him.
He's basically the favorite, the ringer to win, you know? And you got the other guy, throat cut guy.
Who's throat cut guy?
There's this guy that has like a flat top, like 80s rapper style, like a house party haircut.
Yes.
And he just looks at Dukes and he gives him like this shaking finger to like point at him.
Is he scared?
He looked like he was trying to intimidate him.
Or is he so intense?
No, he looked like he was so intense, like he was shaking because he was so mad. Like, I'm going to kick your ass. And then he just tries to make this crappy throat cut symbol across him. And instantly gets his butt kicked.
Is that in the script or is it bad acting?
I think
is the shaking in the script?
I think the guy took liberties with that one and thought, you know what, I'm going to make this movie better.
I feel like that was like they did 10 takes of that and that was the best one and it was still terrible. And the director was like, let's move on.
Well, then you got Sumo Guy, who is just huge.
He's E Honda.
He's E Honda, basically.
From Street Fighter.
And he's
basically
like 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
And then you got this Brazilian boxer guy who I'm calling Sagat from Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
And he fights with like this like tiger stance. I think he's like Brazilian or
uses
something.
Knees.
Yeah, he's done like always kicking knees, throwing knees at guys like kidneys. That guy's pretty intense.
Right.
If I had to pick somebody to win other than Chong Li and Dukes, I'd pick him.
Well, because he's well-rounded.
He had some moves. He was good.
Right. You also have the monkey style fighter.
Yeah, the guy that's like crawling on the ground.
He uses hamster style.
Hamster
pretty
style.
much. So even though he told us that he wouldn't do hamster style anymore.
He wouldn't do it anymore. He swore that he wouldn't.
Yeah. So, but here's the problem I have with this guy, right? So he advances pretty far. I think he beats 2 or 3 people before he ultimately succumbs to Sumo Guy.
He didn't look like he had any moves though. He's crawling around on the ground.
But it's the art of deception. Now in round 1 you can get away with that shit because it's surprising, right? It's the art of the surprise. Like you didn't see it coming. But the next fight, I don't know how the second guy didn't beat him because really, just kick the guy in the head. He's on the ground, right?
Step on him.
He's like a twig. He's got to be 110 pounds soaking wet.
But he didn't even look like he had moves. I don't know how to even say it. Like he didn't look agile. He just looked like a guy.
He was
looked
just
like
rolling
me.
around.
He looked like me.
Yeah.
If I started rolling around on the ground here in front of you and I tried to fight you, you would just step on me.
His punches have no power. Just kick him in the head. Get this guy out of here. This guy's going to be in the next tournament now because he won a fight and he shouldn't be there. He's wasting a spot.
It's the most unbelievable part of this movie.
Yeah.
More unbelievable than the love story.
He's worse than the white guy who got his back broken by Chong Li named Jeff.
Who's your favorite fighter of all these guys besides you can't pick Van Damme, you can't pick Chong Li, and you can't pick Jackson. Who's your favorite guy?
I'm still gonna. It's tough, man. I'm still gonna go with monkey style, hamster style guy.
So after all that, you're picking him?
I'm still picking him because he made it work. I mean, after one match, I guess he switched it up enough. Now here leads me to my next problem with the fighting scene in this movie, and there's not that many problems with it because the fighting scenes are awesome.
They're great.
A lot of different styles. It's great. I'm not a technician in any way, so I can't really start to describe them to you, but it's just great.
You gotta watch it.
The fights aren't long enough. I feel like take like 20 minutes of the story out of this movie and add more fights.
Yeah. We don't need the love story. Just add more fights.
The longest fight is the final between Van Damme and Chong Li, and that's like 5 minutes. I feel like we could it'd be nice to have like a little 2-minute fight. Yeah. Show a 2-minute fight, right?
Do you know what I noticed about the fight scenes? It seemed like the moves themselves were like a shot. They weren't actually filming a fight. It's
Yeah,
like,
right.
all right, you Brazilian guy and you Van Damme stand here, and now you do a roundhouse kick, and we're going to film it in slow-mo.
Right. That's exactly what it was.
And that's it. Like, I wonder, like when they film a basketball game for a sports movie, like, are they playing the basketball game or are they running plays?
No, they run plays choreography. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It was just, hey, do this kick.
Let's get a more choreographed fight here.
Yeah.
So,
like the Jackie Chan movies do that, and they do it well.
So I want to see this guy's technique. I'm still going to pick hamster style guy.
That's your guy?
Yeah, who's your guy?
I like the Brazilian guy. I'm assuming he's Brazilian because I think that's what it said on the internet.
You like Street Fighter Sagat. Yeah.
He looked like the guy that he had some good moves. He had the knees and the kicks. He was good.
Right. Now, before we move on, speaking of no business in the tournament, let's talk about Ray Jackson for a minute, his fighting style.
He was terrible.
You want to know his fighting style?
Punch you in
the face. And that's it. He has no martial arts skills whatsoever. How did he get invited to this damn thing?
That's the mystery of the film, I think.
He won 2 fights by brute force.
Because that works against monkey style guy or hamster style guy, the guy that's crawling on the ground, but it doesn't work against Chong Li.
Right.
He tried, he basically punched Chong Li, got one clean hit on him. Chong Li basically turned his head.
He hurt him, though. I mean, he hurt him. He stunned him a little bit.
But he's got power.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have brains.
Right. But power doesn't get you anywhere in a martial arts best of the best type tournament, right?
Well, the first time I saw this, I thought Chong Li killed him. Yeah. I thought it was over. Like, he's dead.
He beat him by stepping on his neck.
Put him in a body bag, you know? I thought it was done.
Put him in the hospital.
But he sent him to the hospital. Yeah. And, like, I love how he had that wrap around his head. It's just like there's blood coming out of it. But I don't know. I thought that was ridiculous. And also the fact, like, catching punches and blocks, like the slow-mo catch. I'm going to make that the cover for this picture, for this episode, because it's ridiculous. The picture of Van Damme basically doing a split, catching Chong Li's punch, sideways.
You can't catch a sideways punch. You can't do it. It's impossible.
What about the gambling aspect of this? Like, how do you gain access to this underground fighting? Is this like, what are the spectators? Are they gamblers?
We didn't mention the crowd yet. The crowd, there's like 200, 300 people there, right? It's a nice place. Everybody's got suits on. The ladies are like arm candy. They got nice dresses on. And they're all gambling. All of them.
Like tons of money.
Yeah. So who sets the lines for these fights? Because obviously Chong Li's going to win every one. So, like, how do you make money? How do you bet on Chong Li? It's like, how bad are the odds stocked against? Like, say Chong Li is fighting white guy Jeff, right, in the first round.
Yeah, Jeff.
It's going to be a disaster.
Yeah. Is
it Chong Li minus 5,000?
It's got to be because it's so much of a lock that you can't make money on it.
Yeah. 5,000 to win 100. Is that what it's going to be? Like,
was Bodog around back in 88?
Yeah. Well, they didn't have the internet back then, but yeah. I mean, gambling pretty much ran this thing, and I would have loved to have been a part of it. How fun would that be to just take your life savings and bet on Chong Li in the first round, and you'll win something.
It's gonna work. There's no way he's gonna lose. Right. But as the fight goes, Chong Li's line starts to switch a little bit.
All right. Well, here's the thing: the Jackson character got some hype. He won 2 fights very convincingly because of his brute force.
So it swung a little,
right? So in the quarterfinals, when he meets, I'm assuming it's quarterfinals, when he meets Chong Li, what's that line like? Would you give Jackson 25 to 1 odds, or is that still too high?
I don't know. Maybe because of the brute force. Yeah. Because he's got a shot. He's not going to win.
That's still long odds. 25 to 1 is still long odds, but compared to the other jag-offs in this thing, it's pretty good.
Yeah. No, I think so. But what about the final fight? We got to talk about the final fight here.
Right.
It's the final fight between Dux and Chong Li.
And let's get more into Chong Li as we talk about the final fight.
So, Chong Li, where do you put him on the villain scale?
Chong Li is a solid 8.7 on the villain scale.
I think he's the highest villain that the likes that this podcast has ever seen.
See, there's a fine line between saying tough things in movies, being a tough talker, and saying nothing and being just as effective. And he just walks that line perfectly. He says maybe 4 sentences in this entire damn movie.
Yeah.
And it's intimidating. He doesn't speak a lick of English. He's very broken English.
He has the deepest voice.
Right. So he's just his stares, his glares, him just like looking at you cocky from the sidelines as you think you want an impressive fight. He's like, yeah, right. I could have beat that guy faster. His very upset face when he sees Frank Dux beat his record. It's like I got chills. I was very afraid of this guy.
He actually, it's one of the few movies where I'm watching, like, is the bad guy actually going to win?
Yeah.
Because he looks like he's going to kill this guy.
Yeah. It could be a sad story.
Yeah. Like, sorry. Yeah, based on a true story. Frank Dux thought he was going to beat Chong Li. Nope, he died.
He died.
He's dead. Got decapitated by Chong Li. He ripped his head off, and then Chong Li wins every match forever.
Mortal Kombat there.
That's what I thought.
Well, that's why he's not a 10.0. So
I think he's pretty damn close, though. To me, he's my favorite villain that we've had so far, just because of the intimidation factor, the muscles, the intensity,
yes,
the fact that he kicked his buddy's ass and took his bandana and put it on his knee because he's like, I'm gonna knee you in the head with this thing. Like, that's what he did. That's pretty badass.
Obviously, he's the villain of the movie, but can I just say that he's probably not that bad of a guy, though. Really,
well, he's just trying to win, man. Yeah. He's trying to win.
All he's doing is winning the tournament. He's not cheating in this thing at all. Because there are no rules.
Well, he did cheat. Well, I guess it's not. It's frowned upon.
It's frowned upon. So he tried to blind Frank Dux with a salt packet.
Whatever the heck it was. Like salt or meth or coke.
Yeah. But he's just trying to win. And when he kills a guy in the ring, which is completely legal.
It is legal.
It's part of the rules.
They turn their back on him.
Yeah. So he's not doing anything wrong. He's not that bad of a guy.
He's trying to win this thing.
He doesn't have a posse.
He doesn't know if that little guy's going to get up and try to fight him back.
Yeah.
He's got to put him out. He's got to kill him.
Right. If the ref didn't blow the whistle, if he kills the guy after the ref blows the whistle, then you got an arrest on your hands. But he's got too many fans on the inside there, so they would never allow that.
I like how his promoter handed him whatever that powder was, which the real Frank Dux, we'll get to that later, claims that he actually was blinded by this, which he may not have even been there.
Yeah,
so
we'll see about that.
We'll talk a little bit about Frank Dux as a real person.
So let me ask you about Chong Li outside of this ring real quick. Let me hit you up with this one.
Yeah.
Does he have a posse? Does he work
like
alone?
An entourage?
Does he have a wife?
I don't think, listen, this guy is like Chip Kelly. Like, he doesn't have a family. His life is football.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's life is training for the Kumite. That's all it is. I don't even think he gets money unless these guys are like betting on him and he's getting a cut of it.
He might get a cut of
His promoter guy gets paid. But that's what this guy was bred for.
But that's dangerous because you could take a fall one day.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I feel like he was bred for this thing.
Right.
He lives and dies by the Kumite.
So yeah, his promoter probably feeds him, clothes him, shelters him.
Is there other Kumites? Does he go on like a Kumite world tour?
Yes, he does. He goes on a world tour.
Like in Street Fighter, when you go to like the different matches. Yeah. You know, you're like going to Japan, Brazil.
Japan.
Like wherever you go.
USSR.
He does that. Like he's on the world tour.
Yeah.
He's like M. Bison.
Right. So he has no wife. He has no friends. How does he spar? Because you got to be scared shitless if you're fighting against this guy.
I feel like he's just beating up a building or something. Like, no, he's like in Street Fighter where you could beat up the car.
Yeah.
Like he's punching the
car. Okay.
He's sitting there and he practices on cars.
Yeah.
He's like punching a car the whole time to like get toughed up.
Because only he's killing the best of the best here. So he can't just fight some random spar jockey.
Like maybe after a while he lost because it wasn't enough of a challenge anymore and he got a little lazy.
Yeah.
And he tried to do the cheating move and he thought that he was going to win because of it. But so we talked about Street Fighter. Who would you compare him to? Like, what's his difficulty level? Like, if you're playing a fighting video game, is he Goro? Is he Shao Kahn? Is he M. Bison?
He's a mixture of Goro and Shao Kahn. He's not Shang Tsung.
He's like a kind of guy that you need to use like a glitch or something to beat. Which is what Dux did. He used the dick punch.
Yeah, he used the dick punch.
Although he claims that it wasn't.
Oh, it was punched to the abdomen. Yeah, that's what they say in wrestling. That's what Jim Ross says.
He went Johnny Cage style to beat him.
Right. Like, you talk about video games. I remember a very specific moment. We were living together in this apartment. We were playing Mortal Kombat. It was like the latest one that came out. Yeah. The newest one. It came out like 3 or 4 years ago. And I remember we were doing the story mode. We were switching controllers, and we were trying to beat the last guy, Shao Kahn, for like an hour, and it just wasn't working. So we finally decided to use Liu Kang and use the low punch fireball, glitch bitching from across the screen over and over again, and that's how you beat Shao Kahn.
I do remember that.
So that's the only way you can beat this guy.
Because it was cheap. Like, it was frustratingly hard.
Right. So Frank Dux is fighting this guy in the end. It's the finals. Of course, the movie was setting it up all along. Wouldn't go any different. Let me pose this question to you. If Chong Li didn't use the salt, do you think he would have won? I feel like it hindered him.
No, and he got screwed up because he got cocky. And let me tell you this. Frank Dux forgot that he learned how to fight blindfolded.
Oh, I forgot.
So he forgot that in his training, he learned how to do stuff blindfolded.
In one of the 76 montages from his past, we learned that Frank Dux learned from his Shidoshi how to fight blindfolded and how to serve drinks blindfolded.
And dinner, he was basically a blindfolded waiter.
Yeah. Right.
He was a waiter.
So
after he got drawn and quartered, pulled on that thing.
Which is completely ridiculous.
The training montage where he's tied to a tree, being pulled his legs and arms.
You guys, please just go to YouTube right now and just YouTube Bloodsport funny scenes. It's a 6-minute clip. It's got everything you need right there. So.
It could be like an hour and a half as long as the movie.
Yeah.
Not that it's bad, but I can't get that picture of him being like tied to a tree, trying to resist the pain.
Where he goes, ah! And then silence, and then it's like he's calm, like he found Nirvana.
And he breaks the ropes.
Yeah.
Like, I know we're skipping here, but that's how this movie is. It's like in my head.
Right.
So anyway, Dukes kicks his ass then in the end, and he punches like wildly for a few minutes, but he gets through it.
But can I just say this also, that he's the worst blind actor I've ever seen in my entire life.
He was using all of his acting skills.
His eyes are so wide open, and he's pulling the confused look. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry, you're not confused when you're blind. Like, I know you're like disoriented, but it's like, he's like, I can't. Obviously, you can't see me shake my head while I'm talking to you right now, but he's just pushing his head back and forth, has no idea what's going on.
The widest eyes.
Forgets where he is, basically. It's just the worst acting. Of all the lines that he spit out in this movie that were terrible, his blind acting is the worst acting that he did.
This movie overused slow-mo, I feel.
Yeah, it did.
And in that scene especially, it like accentuated the terribleness of it.
Yeah.
Like slow-mo, wide eyes, trying to look all over the place. It was like, I don't know, it felt like you're on drugs trying to watch this thing.
Right.
So that was ridiculous.
So in the end, he catches his punch. He roughs him up a little bit, punches him in the bladder, quote unquote.
According to the real Frank Dux.
And what was the knockout blow?
Doesn't he punch him in the face, or he's gonna punch him in the face and he says, say it. He was trying to say like his buddy's name or something, or Shinoshi or whatever it was. I don't remember, but he was trying to get him to say something, like say uncle.
Right. And he just, it's over. So Dukes wins.
Yeah. And then the screen flashes.
So we're at the end of the movie. Then what?
We got this triumphant music playing in another somewhat of a credits montage.
Oh, before you say it, by the way, Frank Dux is a real person.
Yeah, he is a real person.
This is based on a true story.
If you didn't know.
Now go on.
Now based on. So I got some records here. So it says, from 1975 to 1980, Frank W. Dux fought 329 matches. He retired undefeated as the world heavyweight full contact Kumite champion.
Impressive.
Mr. Dux still holds 4 world records at the time of 1988. Fastest knockout, 3.2 seconds.
We saw that on screen.
That was the one guy who got cocky, the Arab guy.
The Arab guy.
Then you got fastest punch with a knockout, 0.12 seconds.
So wait.
How is that how's that slower than, or how's that faster than the fastest knockout?
Is it some kind of time speed thing? Like, it doesn't even that stat doesn't even make sense to me.
Well, the next one tells you. So you got fastest kick with a knockout, 72 miles per hour. Woo! This is like the 80s. So they have a guy with a radar gun clocking kicks.
I feel like the radar gun isn't an accurate. Yeah, they didn't have the technology back then to accurately measure a kick.
And then most consecutive knockouts in a single tournament, 56. Are you doing 56 fights in a tournament? In a Kumite?
Yeah. Was that a typo from the movie? Because
they screwed up and they're like, well, we didn't have enough money to finish this thing, so we'll just leave it in.
I think they meant 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
5 or 6. Unconfirmed.
I mean, a 3-day tournament, how many guys are you actually going to be fighting? There wasn't 56 guys in this.
Yeah. I don't even care if it's a worldwide tournament. 56 consecutive knockouts in one tournament means that there are like, I don't know, at least 56 rounds, which means there are over 100 fighters, which means how many times per day are you fighting, which means it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Speaking of bullshit.
Yeah. Hollywood versus history. The real Frank Dux versus Jean-Claude Van Damme's Frank Dux.
This
now, you found this. Tell me about this.
I guess I think the website's called Hollywood versus History, which I guess they do a lot of like based on a true story type things where they pose questions and they see, all right, how much of the true story is true? How much was embellished? How much was written for the movie for dramatic effect? So I guess the story broke out in Black Belt magazine, which I have a subscription to. I don't know about you.
That's the movie that Barry Grabowski had with Chuck Norris on it in Sidekicks, right?
Sure. So I guess that's where Frank Dux either sold a story or told a story. And I guess it was because the Kumite is a very secretive thing.
It's on the hush-hush.
If it's a real thing.
Yeah.
So, and I guess
it's like Fight Club.
Yeah, they confirmed and then they but they can't tell you how they confirmed, right? So then Frank Dux spins this bullshit story about why he really went to the Kumite. And let me read this.
So you don't believe him?
Yeah, let me read this to you verbatim. My involvement in that tournament was part of a plan launched in 1975 to infiltrate the criminal organizations that organized the fights. The original idea was to participate in the Kumite tournament and make a few contacts. We initially assumed I would lose, but eventually I became one of the best Kumite fighters to ever participate in the event. End quote.
That's a guy with a high opinion of himself.
Right?
Now,
Like,
I'm not a martial artist here, so I can't dispute this guy's skills. I'm sure he's a hell of a fighter.
I believe he's a good fighter.
Yeah.
I may even believe that the Kumite exists and he participated in it and potentially won it.
But do you believe that he worked for the CIA, as he
I don't
claims?
believe that it was a secret covert mission to infiltrate criminal organizations.
That's
right?
like the embellishment of a story to say, like, hey, you know what? I did this fight. It just doesn't ring a bell. Like, it doesn't seem real to me.
Yes. So the website goes on to like list a couple other things and a couple like will they won't they like his friend Ray Jackson, I think he was two different people, like a combination of two different people, which is fine for movies. The reporter character didn't exist.
Go figure.
And what did he say about the sex scene? He said that I would never sleep with a woman before a fight.
Which is, I guess that's a thing, right?
It's like a superstition.
Like a baseball
you gotta keep your testosterone
like you can't
built inside. Right? So
such a bro, man.
Yeah, right. So and then there's also this, like, he has this this guy who's like opposing him, saying he didn't do some of the things that he did. I think it's a writer for a magazine or something. I forget his last name is Johnson. He claims that Dux bought the trophy that he claims he won at the Kumite.
So that's like those guys that print their PhD out off the internet, you know?
Yeah,
like
pretty much.
I knew somebody that knew somebody that alleged that their father printed the PhD off the internet. Yeah. It was like a thing, and it was hilarious.
And I think like Duke sued him or something for like defamation or something like that. And like the guy presented like a receipt evidence and like it was dismissed. It wasn't proven to be like, it was like dismissed, right? So it was neither here nor there.
So he fabricated the receipt.
Yeah.
And didn't he sue Van Damme too? He sued Van Damme.
He did sue Van Damme because Van Damme tried to make another movie, I think, in the early 90s.
It's called The Quest, right?
Yeah, something like that. And I think like he tried to call it the Kumite.
Yeah.
And like he also like divulged some quote unquote secrets or something, and I think he lost.
Yeah, Duke's lost.
Duke's
right?
lost. Yeah,
because that's BS, man. Come on.
Yeah. And then he also said that he fought a real life Chong Li. Like Chong Li's a real person. That's not his name. Yeah. But like the same type of character. Big tough guy that he beat.
And killed people.
Yeah. And like he was the greatest Kumite fighter of all time, recognized, which, you know, go to Hollywood. What is it? Hollywood versus
We'll post the note.
Yeah, we'll post it in the show notes. It's a very
notes.
interesting read if you want to learn more.
Yeah.
I suggest you watch the movie.
And then read that.
And then it's a pretty nice comparison as the real versus alleged.
Yeah. So you don't believe him. I'm on the fence about whether I believe him. We'll leave it up to the listeners to decide whether they believe him.
Long story short, probably a good fighter, probably won some tournaments, not as special as he claims to be. So before we get out of here, I thought we'd do a little fantasy tournament for you.
Okay.
So what I was thinking of watching this movie is that I was upset that we didn't really get to know the characters of the Kumite besides Jackson, Dux, and Chong Li, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what if they held like a worldwide Kumite type thing with some of our favorite action heroes of all time?
This sounds like something that you could write a hell of an article about.
See, that's what I was thinking. Originally, I was going to have like a tournament with seeds and odds and stuff like that, but we don't have time for that.
Yeah,
I might write something down the road on that. I might flesh it out into an article, post. But for now, we're going to do this as are these fighters worthy of being in this tournament? I'll ask you. You tell me.
Okay.
And do they have a shot? The barometer is Chong Li.
Okay, so can they beat Chong Li?
Can they beat Chong Li? Is it possible that they beat Chong Li?
Okay.
And that's the barometer.
All right.
So give me a yes or no and give me a brief reason why or why not. Okay. So first on the list, and these are all some of our favorite fantasy stars here. First was our previous podcast, Dalton from Roadhouse.
Yes, because he would rip his throat out.
Throat ripping Dalton.
If he can beat that dude that he ripped his throat out, he can beat Chong Li.
I'm going to say yes because in the movie world of Roadhouse, Dalton can't be beat. That's like his line.
Yeah, so he can't be beat.
Is he wearing jeans in that fight?
Yes.
Yeah, he better damn well be wearing jeans in that fight.
They're not wet, though.
Yeah, not wet. Chong Li's got a bucket of water on the side. It's not the salt.
He's going to pour water on his jeans.
The water on his jeans. It's over.
So he gets weighed down.
Yeah. All right. So that's a hard yes. Second, we have Casey Ryback from Under Siege, Steven Seagal.
If they're fighting in a kitchen, no. Because nobody beats him in the kitchen.
Nobody beats him in the kitchen.
But if they're fighting, I think Chong Li would kick his ass. I'm sorry. I think he would.
You see, he's
the thing. Badass, but he would kick his ass.
In Under Siege, Seagal is starting to become overweight.
Yeah.
So he gets beat by Chong Li.
Yeah.
Right.
Chong Li beats him.
But Casey Ryback would like reach round 2.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we got Snake Plissken from Escape from LA, New York. Win. Kurt Russell.
Yeah, because he's from the future, man. Like
he is from the future.
He can go
like
back.
All new styles.
He's got the techniques. He knows the Death Punch 2.0.
But he's got one eye.
I think he wins.
All right, he's got one eye.
One eye.
Harder to salt.
Yeah,
I guess.
He can't salt. He can't. He'll flip the eye patch.
All right. Next is Brian Mills, who is the one whose daughter had been taken.
She was took.
She had been taken 3.
No takebacks.
No takebacks. She was took.
I don't think Mills would beat Chong Li. I think Chong Li would kick his ass.
He's got a particular set of skills, though.
I don't care. Do
you know how many asses he kicked in a 3-movie span?
Beats him.
Chong Li is equal to like the 712 asses that Tooken had tooken in that movie. He took 75 asses. All right.
Are they hanging on his wall?
Yeah, he took them.
I don't know.
The answer is yes. You're wrong.
You think Mills would beat him? I don't know. I'm going with Chong Li, man.
Yep. Next is a controversial one. Bruce Wayne.
Are we talking about Bruce Wayne who fought Brian Mills? Like that Bruce Wayne?
No, we're
like
talking
Christopher Nolan Bruce Wayne?
Yeah, we're talking Bruce Wayne, not Batman.
Like grounded.
We're not Val Kilmer.
Okay.
Not Clooney. We're talking about Christian Bale.
Listen, Clooney would never beat him.
No. We're talking Christian Bale, Bruce Wayne.
At the height of his probably steroid jackedness.
Yes.
I think he would win because he's got the League of Shadows and Assassins.
He's very smart.
He's got the tricks.
I agree.
He would give him the fear potion.
Bruce Wayne is in.
He's winning.
Next. John Rambo.
He'll win because it's Rambo. A Rambo, but he can't use guns, right?
No, he can't.
He'll still win. He'll find a way.
Well, what about Rambo 2? Would Rambo 2
Wasn't
beat
he in one of these things? He was like in a Kumite, wasn't he? In one of the Rambos. It's like it's like a scene where he's in a Kumite sort of thing. He would win.
Rambo 3, he's so muscular he might lose. So Rambo 3's out.
Not Rambo from the newest one where he's like 65 years old.
So Rambo 4's got no shot.
Yeah, no way.
All right, next, Jason Bourne, controversial.
Chong Li's kicking his ass.
Yeah.
I like him.
But he's like brainwashed, though. Yeah. It's like a different thing.
Well, he's like a robot.
It's no.
Yeah, I don't think he would win.
Dutch.
If he beat the Predator.
He beat the Predator. It's Arnold and he beat the Predator.
Yeah, he wins.
He's in.
Chong Li is less than the Predator.
He might be a 1 seed, by the way.
Yeah. He probably is the 1 seed.
All right, Maximus from Gladiator. Dude beat lions.
Yeah, but he had like weapons that they threw in the ring, you know?
He beat a guy like twice his size.
He is like a genius general, so he might be able to win. Yeah. That's like a draw to me.
Well, he's got a lot of heart. That's what he's got.
And he's the same kind of style of fighter. He's like he's not like a martial artist like a CIA guy. Like he's a fighter.
Like, well, the thing is, when we talk about Snake Plissken's got the future skills, Maximus is like old school, so it might work against him. He doesn't know some of these techniques. It's a no.
Okay.
The answer is no.
I would say yes, but
next one's near and dear to both of our hearts. Jack Bauer.
No, he's the 1 seed.
Jack Bauer's the 1 seed.
Like, I know Dutch is pretty badass, but Jack Bauer's the 1 seed. There's no way Jack Bauer would lose this fight. He'll listen, he would fight everybody in the Kumite at once and beat all of them.
Take his Glock away, it don't matter.
Yeah, he'll beat him up.
It don't matter. Jack Bauer, wins. Hard yes.
He wins.
All right, Bruce Lee from Enter the Dragon, who actually did fight Chong Li in the movie Enter the Dragon.
Bruce Lee wins, I think.
Yeah, Bruce Lee, I threw him in there as a sentimental pick because like you got to throw him in because he's like legendary. But I think it's kind of boring. Like I feel like it's unfair because like Bruce Lee's, of course, he's going to win.
Yeah.
And last but not least, the toughest competitor of this crew, John Kreese from Karate Kid, the bad guy from Karate Kid.
Does he have Terry Silver with him on the sidelines?
Yes, he does.
Cheering him on with the millions of dollars.
Yes, he does with his evil grin.
Are we talking about Karate Kid 3 jumped out from behind the cardboard
That's
cutout
exactly
of himself,
what it
John
is.
Kreese?
It's like the art of surprise, right?
All right. I think he's got a shot. But that's the two of the same fighters. They fight dirty, right? Sweep the leg,
they do. Yep.
I don't know. That's a tough one. I think Chong Li still beats him, though.
Oh, yeah. He's got no shot. But I will say this, though. When he loses to Pat Morita in 1, I feel like it's bull. Like I feel like 9 out of 10 times, Kreese will win that fight. He was just so jacked up. He was so emotional because his kid lost. And he was just like, he just wasn't thinking right.
But see, I want to see a movie where John Kreese has to fight all the John Kreeses of other dojos. Like, what if he was just like this tough guy, like a fake tough guy. You never really saw him fight.
So he's just pushing around little kids.
Yeah,
basically.
he's just a guy that's like, he's the head of a dojo. But what about the other dojos?
All right, yeah, he's just pushing around little kids. I see what you're saying.
He was standing on the sidelines while all the other people were fighting.
Well, the answer is just flat out no.
No, Chong Li kicks his ass.
There's no business in this tournament.
I agree with you.
So that's all I got. So
that's a great game.
I think you did pretty well. I think you got like a 75% score because I had the correct answers.
I think you need to write an article about that.
I will have to get motivated to do that.
So let's reveal next week's episode. Next week, we're aiming to do a 2-parter. We'll see what we can do. But in honor and in celebration of the Super Bowl,
yes,
we want to do a football-themed couple episodes here.
Yeah, we're going to do a 2-parter.
We're going to do a 2-parter. We're looking at Little Giants and The Replacements. So hopefully, if you haven't seen them, you have time to go out and watch them now. I hope you've all seen them because they're great movies.
Little Giants, if you're between the ages of 15 and 30, you know what Little Giants is. Replacements is starring Keanu Reeves, where it's a bunch of replacement players replace NFL players.
On strike or something.
And it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Horrible acting, right up our alley.
So we're aiming for that. We hope to have that out next week in honor of the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And that leads me to my next point. We want your feedback. Write in. Tell us what movies you guys want to see. We got a lot of great suggestions so far. We've got a lot that we've added to this list. We're going to keep adding to this list. Write in. Let us know what you guys think, and we really appreciate that. If you're looking to get in touch with us, you can get in touch with us at thelastrowpodcast.com. You can find us on Twitter at TheLastRowPod. Send us an email, thelastrowpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Facebook, Google+, and last but not least, leave us a voicemail, 415-779-LAST. That's 415-779-5278. And on that note, we'll see you guys next time. For Badway, this is Drew.
See ya.
See ya.